Give us any chance, we'll take it. Read us any rule, we'll break it. We're gonna make our dreams come true.
Welcome to Night After Night, a podcast about 8 seasons in a row. I'm Mr. Fernandes, and
I'm Chris Jayawardena. Hello.
And we're going to talk about the classic episode of Laverne and Shirley, Guinea Pigs. This is one of Penny Marshall's favorite episodes. This is a very well-known episode of the series. It was directed by comedy legend James Burrows and written by Jack Winter. I'm sure you've got some information on the two of them, don't you, Chris?
Yeah, as per usual, we've been talking a lot about James Burrows, who's he's directed some fantastic episodes of the show. He's been able to make an amazing pivot from doing kind of some of the more serious episodes, and now has been having a really good run with the comedic ones. I think this is I want to say the third or fourth episode he's done so far this season, probably more actually. But again, as always, this is somebody who has worked on an incredible amount of television to the point he is still reportedly working to this day.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic, and kudos to that. It also means that this person has proven himself quite reliable, and as we'll see in today's episode, his quality indeed is worth talking about. As to the writer Jack Winter, he was kind of a guy who wrote a little bit in the 60s here and there, including things like The Dick Van Dyke Show. He actually ended up doing Hey Landlord, and did 5 episodes of The Monkees, and a few segments of Love American Style. And after Laverne and Shirley, we also worked on Sororitas Court, and that was kind of it for his career. But when it comes to Laverne and Shirley, this is the second episode that he's worked on. Drive, She Said was the other written by credit to his name, and he has one more coming up at some point.
Yes, indeed. This is what the episode's about. When Edna's date requires her to drop her plans to attend a cocktail party, the girls pick it up. In Shirley's case, in the hope of nailing a rich hubby. Unfortunately, the party requires a $20 per person entrance fee, money the girls do not have. They trick the boys, who have volunteered themselves to scientific experiments on the weekends for extra money, and manipulate them into helping them. Laverne is attached to a sleep therapy project, and Shirley is attached to a nutrition project. Laverne has to stay up for 48 hours straight, and Shirley subsists off of a dirt-based dumpling diet. The girls survive the experiments, but will they survive the party? What do you think of this episode?
This was goofy and wild, and there's some wonderful delights, and there's some wonderful little delightful things that come up in this episode. I definitely, I don't know if I share maybe perhaps the favorite episode enthusiasm, but there's a lot of magic in this one. I can imagine it was a lot of fun to work on, especially.
Yeah. There's a lot of classic moments in this one. There's a lot of great physical humor. There's a lot of memorable stunts. A lot of people, when they look back on their memories of watching this sitcom, say, I definitely remember Laverne falling asleep against that wall with a shrimp sticking out of her mouth and a starving Shirley trying to grab it tail first out of her mouth, and Laverne just sucking the whole thing down her mouth, down her throat.
Oh God, yeah.
Then
sorry, go ahead. No. I was just going to quickly say the absurdism is very high this time around.
They will also probably remember Laverne going face first into that huge pile of pate. They will remember that.
Yep.
If you get anybody talking about it, they'll go, yeah, I remember these stunts and I remember this episode.
Hey, at the very least, it wasn't silly pate. She would have bounced all around the room like a pinball.
Okay. This is another one of those, the girls will go to any lengths to make their dreams come true, but sometimes their dream isn't exactly what they thought it would be when they first grasped it.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I love that they're so determined to get to the end of this rainbow that they just go for it. They just totally go for it. And they pay for it, but they go for it. So...
Mm-hmm. And it is interesting. I to I guess piggyback off that is the result that they get is in true sitcom fortune, very Gary Marshall form. Things kind of work out in a weird way, I even love the the security guy kind of being cool about it. You know, he's suspicious of them, and then when he realized they probably end up telling him what happened, and he's chill about it. And you know, it's like those sort of things make it, I think, a really fun. It's what helps make it a fun episode rather than an you know.
Yeah, it's a sad, it's a tragic episode. Yeah.
Right.
Aside from the really, really, really sharp physical comedy, we get a lot of fun dialogue in this.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The I mean, even just the whole setup of Laverne. What is it? No plans, huh? Nope. Not unless Laverne gets lucky in the laundry room, and guess who she comes back with?
Lenny in a giant pile of laundry. And he begs her not to tell anybody that he does domestic. And she goes, "Well, don't tell anybody that we don't have any dates." And then he laughs at her. And then when the girls call up the dumbwaiter for them, they come back thinking that they're going to ask them out on a date. And it doesn't happen.
That's right.
They come back in the smoking jackets and everything.
Gotcha.
Yes.
So the thing I was going to say, though, is regarding the dialogue, is I love Lenny, and he needs directions, and coming in, and she goes, all right, and watch out for the stair there. And he's like, could you get the things off for a second? So she pulls off the top, and he just goes, oh, this is your place. Yeah. So it's like, if he had known, he would have been fine. It's like, so somebody's been in this apartment too many times.
It is actually a chronic thing that he does not know how many steps are in the girl's apartment. He always thinks there's one more. This becomes a running joke that shows up later in the series.
Oh, that's excellent.
That's fun. You'll see it later on. We get deeper in
Speaking of the laundry, I feel really sorry for that sweater. At least you can make it into a hand-me-down for Fonzie's godson or something.
Yeah. At least somebody will want it. Maybe one of Deb's children. Someone. I also love the fact that Lenny was sitting down there watching the underwear spin. He was sitting there watching the underwear spin, just like, those boys. But yeah, there's a...
I mean, I never see the appeal of it. It's like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I like women's underwear, but, whoa, don't take that out of context. Yeah, we're leaving that in. But it's a case of, it's just, I don't know. It's like just watching them spin. It's like, yeah, but they're not doing anything. Yeah. They're just garments at that point.
I think it's just that the fact that this actually becomes a recurrent topic in the series. The boys are just thrilled to touch and or stare at women's underwear.
Oh, okay.
Specifically the girls' underwear. It becomes a thing.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to kink shame. Sorry about that.
God. The show. Okay.
Anyway. Yes.
Okay, I was gonna say. I probably the way that the girls try to drag the boys in the scheme, by hook or by crook or by making out with them, is also great.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, Laverne just goes for it, and then Shirley's just being so gentle, and I think you pointed out the complimenting his tie, and I mean, God, we'll get it explicit if I keep this in, but yeah, I mean, Laverne is like practically trying to make Lenny, jizz his pants at this point.
This is going to actually become a topic later. I love these horrifying. I love these little cookie crumbs that I'm giving you into the future. Actually, it's Shirley, but we'll get there later.
Well, it's always the innocent ones that cause the premature ejaculation, isn't it?
Yes, by apparently touching someone's foot. Anyway, this is canon. This happens.
Eyes widen emoji.
But yeah, I love the difference between the two of them and how they pursue this. Shirley just gently nuzzles up to Squiggy and barely touches him and just like gently compliments his tie and is very sweet and ladylike, and Laverne crab walks with her fingertips up his chest and then starts kissing the side of his neck and basically starts sucking on it while he almost falls over. Yeah, that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, and I love that like she just makes him into a puddle, whereas like with Shirley, she's getting Squiggy to like, you know, he doesn't wrap his hands, he wraps his wrists around her.
Yeah.
It's like this with this weird like she hasn't. It's a strange like moral like I haven't been given the go ahead to like clasp with my hands.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna wrist with wrists, which is it's really cute. Now I kind of want to do that now.
Oh. Well, she's very much a lady to him in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
He literally says in season 3 that she's the female Squiggy to him. So, but there's a lot of conflicting, emotions that he has about her that will deeper into canon. We'll get there. But only the boys would do like horrifying experiments for extra money.
Oh,
including
certainly.
Shock therapy. Including shock therapy, applied shock therapy.
Which reminds me, is that a contradiction from how do you say "Are you dead" in German?
Yeah.
Where they were worried about the shock treatment in the insane asylum.
Yeah, it kind of is. It kind of is because they are just subjecting themselves to everything in this one. Yeah. Because man. So if you had the choice, would you pick the sleep one or the nutrition one?
Oh man, I'd go with the sleep one. To hell with it. I can't eat dirt. And like if I knew going in, and to be honest, I don't think I would be wanting to experiment. My stomach's sensitive, dude. I'm not gonna experiment with putting more. I'll probably like have to give them this laundry list of all my food allergies. Like I have this issues with gluten. I've got dairy. I've got corn now as a recent one. So it's like there's all this stuff I can't do, so I wouldn't even bother. The sleep experiment, like that's fine. I've stayed up for 24. I've stayed up for 36 hours. I think is the longest I've ever stayed up. I didn't hallucinate, but I've heard once you reach the 48-hour point, that's pretty common.
Yeah, I've done 3 days before, and it's not pleasant. So I think I'd probably take the nutrition one. I'd rather sleep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. But hey, that'd be the cool thing. If we both did it together, we could then come back and compare notes.
Hey.
But yeah, I want to say getting into the lab sequence itself, I love the scene of the reception.
Yes.
Like Shirley has that amazing facial expression when the receptionist's like, "Oh, the guinea pigs." It's like that scowl, Oh, and I love, and the receptionist Patty is so wonderful, and I love the way that Lenny and Squiggy are like just so adorable.
Yes, she's kind of like a surrogate mom in a way. The two of them,
Yeah.
Considering the way the two of them are, and the fact that they don't really have moms.
Right.
They don't really have positive mom figures in their lives.
Right.
So she's kind of like a mom to them, kind of like, oh, my boys who will do anything. And so it's really sweet in a way.
Yeah. But they're the best humans we know. Oh, go on with it then.
Isn't this the first time we basically see the beer truck? We've heard about the beer truck, but the first time we see the beer truck.
This is the first time, and that's I was surprised because I was expecting more like a van, and this is like a full like truck. This is like a big truck. Which means that Shots is doing pretty well for itself.
Oh yeah. Well, Shots is supposed to be Schlitz. This is the in-universe version of Schlitz, so they're doing pretty okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. This suddenly now makes a lot more sense. Okay.
Yeah. If you think about what it's supposed to be, what Shots is supposed to represent, it's supposed to represent Schlitz within the universe.
So if you do, you can't do the joke by Ingmar Bergman with Shots because you need to do it as like a Dirty Harry joke instead. When you've run out of shots, you've run out of beer, punk.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That is perfect.
Also, edible pamphlets. Now, you're a cooking person. What's your take on that?
That's probably doable. Honestly, it's doable because you have all kinds of printable things that you can eat now because you can print rice paper.
Oh,
you can print rice paper, and you can print like all kinds of like sort of things. You know those things that you can put on top of a cake? That's a picture of something. That's usually edible and printed on something like rice paper. So yeah.
Interesting. I love that you. I was opening that for a joke, but you gave a really awesome answer. That's great.
Sorry, that's my cooking knowledge. I actually knew what was going on. I know you can tell.
I feel sorry for that banana though. He just throws away the banana and just refrigerates the skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the most Lenny and Squiggy joke that's not given to Lenny and Squiggy in the history of the show. It's just something, because that was something they would do. You gotta admit, that's something they would do.
Yep. Oh God. Yeah. I mean, it definitely explains some of their. You've hinted at me that the boys eat really weird foods, and now it's starting to make sense.
Yeah, that's coming up. That's definitely coming up. Expired foods and odd foods and parts of foods and all that jazz.
Yeah.
You'll get there.
But I love that the I love the idea though that the doctors are like these esoteric weirdos that are, you know, it feels so accurate because it's like the quack, they're the quacks that have to impose and prove their theories so that they can push them out on the rest of the world, you know? Like like this is the kind of place you would find these really eccentric doctors that have just got this bizarre like vision of what they want the world to do for food and for sleep. I mean, what is it like they get like 17 minutes a night or something like that, or 30 minutes a night for the sleep study?
I was like, no, it's 30 seconds or something like that. Wasn't it seconds?
And of course Cheryl, and I love that Cheryl doesn't read the fine print that's set up with the invitation, and then she ends up getting them in trouble with the whole like, oh, it's actually going to end on the day, you know, the day of.
On the day of, and they don't think oh yeah, that's going to be a problem. But then Shirley just doesn't care. She will just get the boys to bring the dresses, dress there, and then just show up. Even though she's starving and Laverne is like dead on her feet. So that's the Shirley feeling. Yeah.
So I have a question. This comes back to something that came up earlier, which is that they say, we'll have just Lenny and Squiggy bring our clothes to us so we can change here, which they end up doing. Is it a smart idea to have Lenny and Squig bring your underwear with those dresses?
It eventually becomes acanonical because they literally mousetrap their lingerie drawer to keep the boys out of it at some point.
Oh man, so that means either they don't change it or they have to they had to like bring their own in their purses when they're there. I'm just trying to figure out the logistics of that.
It's not absolutely like a hard fine line because somehow they are okay with the boys going into their apartment, going in their closets, and pulling their clothing out. And they pull out the right outfits. The boys actually do well here. They don't give them like weird mismatching outfits or just bring the underwear or whatever.
Right. Yeah. I'm almost kind of disappointed.
Yeah. we'll get there when it comes to them being ridiculous when it comes to this. Exactly.
I love, and yeah, what was, okay, so of all the different gags that come up through the experiments, what was one that really stood out for you?
Oh, yeah. Shirley's prayer over the meal is perfect.
Oh, boy. Yeah. God is great. God is good. Thank you, God, for this food.
Food. I have to make it rhyme.
Yeah.
That was my favorite one. It's always been my favorite one throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, mine was the starting line before bed, and Laverne's like a horse is, you know, kicking and getting ready, and then okay, sleep, and
and then 2 seconds later they gotta get back up again. Oh, you will notice that one of their experiment partners happens to be famous. That happens to be Harry Shearer. It was in that food experiment with Shirley.
Yeah, and I guess someone in hair and makeup sheared his head a little bit too much.
in a ball cap, y'all.
Yeah, it's a pretty terrible bald cap.
Yeah,
actually.
it is actually. It looks kind of fake. Maybe it's supposed to be fake because he's a character. Like, all these people that the girls are spending time with are like real characters. Real weirdos.
Yeah.
Like, it's possible he'd be sitting there with a fake ball cap on his head because, you know, he thinks that's a good idea. He just thinks it's what people would do. So you never know.
It's possible, but yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Oh man, and chew 32 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, you know, that's the thing. Actually, is, you know, he has a comment about the chewing 32 times, and I actually have heard that that's the thing. You're supposed, like, it's better to chew more. Yeah. I actually do find food tastes better if you do that.
Yeah, you gotta let it sit there and taste good, so to speak, in a way. Yeah.
Right.
So let you savor it. Let's you savor it a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that all the little slapstick bits that happen when the boys come to pick them up.
Oh my God, she flunked the hormone test.
That's the way he laughed. And Lenny trying to grab Laverne off the floor. He's holding her up, and then Shirley mentions they have to dress in the back of the truck, and he bites his wrist, and he loses complete grip on her. And falls to the
Yeah.
floor.
Oh God, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, I figured you'd appreciate this. Is that Lenny notices where Laverne is in the room? He always knows how to find her.
Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah,
just
you're
canon.
welcome for that. You're welcome for that one, shippers.
That's just canon. I was gonna mention the two of them peeping on the girls changing too, on top of it all. Like,
Yeah.
Stop looking
Oh
at
God,
us.
it's they know it's coming.
Yeah.
You know, they know it was gonna happen.
yeah, in a way. But I love that after all that, they do kind of achieve their goals. After all that, they almost died for the $20, but they didn't die. We're going to, I
Right.
guess, either sleep, literally sleep, not physically sleep, with the dude underneath the table. Surely got to eat something.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah.
So,
At the very least, it looks like it was consensual.
Yes.
That's it. That's the thing I'm gonna give it the most points for.
they were probably like, considering what we know of Laverne further into the show, they were probably either just spooning, nicking out underneath the table, or they fell asleep. Out the gate to get toward happens. Because
Yeah, just like roughly first base-ish.
my note says somehow Laverne still manages to make out with a guy.
Yeah.
That's my note.
Which I also love as it's a good gag. I felt also because it's Shirley's there to meet guys, and the one who actually ends up getting the luckiest with the guys
Yep.
is Laverne, who's like
Yep.
like half asleep for most of it.
I'm not good.
But anyway,
Yeah.
it's but no, I love how it's the girls, the actors, Cindy and Penny
Yes.
get to be complete goofs in this
Yes.
scene. This must have
Yes.
been a blast to execute.
Yeah.
The whole sleeping physical
Yeah.
comedy is just incredible.
Yeah.
And like how she's like, Cindy's trying to keep her up, and then she starts to lean, and Shirley's just testing like, okay, can you stay up? No, okay, I gotcha. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
And this, and then fall. I love this wall. Oh,
I love. This is why both the girls have mentioned that this is one of their favorite episodes because of all that
Yeah.
physical comedy. The way they choreographed it, the way they managed to do it and put it together without any scenes popping out. It's perfectly staged. Perfect physical comedy. It's perfect.
right. Yeah, it's like I have my notes, and I do remember that the blocking of the other characters is a bit rough, and I think that was a case of just where they probably had to rehearse some of these gags, practically on the day, that they were
Yeah.
just having to, and it feels like it's a little rushed in places. Like there's there's an insert shot of one of the I think of the Charles Warner character, and like it could have just been blocked in the wide, I think, a little better. But and so I wonder if it was like they were having to kind of do this piece by piece, and it may have just been continuity wasn't around there that day. It could have been the AD was busy with something else. So it's like those details. But that being said, you forget about that pretty easily with how quality the jokes are, and the
Yeah.
I mean, just like, I love immediately that Shirley just does meatballs, and going for the wanting to go for the buffet. It's so good.
Yeah, and it's sucking down the cracker that's on the floor.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, and her accidental theft. She's
Yes.
trying to get her hand in there, and she comes back with a wallet.
Yes. Perfect.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a darn,
Oh, man.
it's a darn good episode. It's a really, 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 really good episode.
Yep. And hey, this also gave me good advice because, I don't know what to say at parties, but all I got to do if I need somebody to move from their chair is just tell them, hey, did you know they're showing dirty pictures in the next room? Works every time.
Marvelous. That was marvelous. I just love that she knows what to say, too. She just knows what to say to throw them off the sense so we can get a little bit of peace. Get them off Laverne's back and her back.
Gosh. Yeah. Cheryl, I think my legs died.
No.
I know that feeling.
Oh, yeah.
I know that feeling.
Lived it. I think many of us have.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think what other else to really mention about the episode. I mean, I've gone through most of my notes here.
So have I.
But Yeah, it's like all I've really got here is just, it's I mean, well, one thing I was going to comment that I do think they also got out of the deal is they had a really loaded doggy bag on the way home, which I thought was great.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a good sign.
Yeah.
That's, to be honest, that's a good party. The food was good enough. You got to take some home with you, and you hook up with some nice people. You even if you make a bit of a tit of yourself, that it's ta-da. You have a friend on your side to help you out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Absurdism turned up to 11.
Yeah. Yeah, wonderful, 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 wonderful physical comedy. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful little stunts. Such a fun little episode. So where are you going to rank this? Where would you rank this?
I'm gonna go with honestly like almost a 7, I would say, just because the physical comedy is really strong. Maybe like more of a 6. I could say like 6.5 most of the time, just because again there's just there's some structure issues here and there, but it's just that the whole opening act is adorable. The sleep therapy, the sleep experiment is great. And the party is delightful. It's very physical. It actually, in many ways, this reminded me of kind of like a Blake Edwards episode.
Yes.
And because I love Blake Edwards comedies. I saw The Party when I was like 10.
Oh.
I just absolutely adore that. So,
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's been ages since I've seen it. This is about an 8.5 for me. This is damn good. This is legendary. This episode is legendary.
Wow.
This episode is legendary for a reason. A lot of memorable physical comedy, a lot of memorable dialogue, a lot of memorable little character interactions. It's not, like, perfect, but it is darn well worth watching. Not the absolute best episode of the season, but up there. Right up there for me.
Right on. All right. And I guess with that, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in to listen to Night After Night yet again as we go in season by season, night after night. All right. And if you would like to join us for more discussion about Laverne and Shirley, please do find us on the social media. We can be found at Night After Night Pod on most services, including Tumblr, Facebook, and even a Patreon and a WordPress. So if you want to throw us some doolars or give us some clicks or just, spread the word, we've got many places to do that. And as well, if you would like to get in on our watch-alongs and tweet at us and communicate, we can be found on Twitter at NightAfNightPC. We totally appreciate that. And I don't know why I'm slowly slipping into a Bob Dylan voice. So I think, Lisa, you're going to need to help me out and let the folks know what's the next episode.
We're 3 seasons too early for Bob Dylan. We're 3 seasons too early for Dylan impressions. Okay, next episode. Girls become taxi dancers for cash when they get laid off from shots. Will they survive the night? Heaven knows. Call Me a Taxi is the name of the episode, and that's what's coming up next.
So I take it that someone, at some point, Laverne said, "Call me a cab," and the whole situation got taken far too literally.
I was waiting for that.
All right. Well, thanks again, everybody. We're looking forward to seeing you next time.
Bye now.